Have you ever wondered what happens when the perfect life is built on a foundation of lies? This is the story of Zach and Olivia, a couple everyone looked up to. They had a beautiful house, successful careers, and a love story that seemed like it was straight out of a movie. Zach adored Olivia, worked tirelessly not just at his job but at being the best husband he could be. He planned surprise dates, remembered every little detail she mentioned, and supported her dreams unconditionally. From the outside, they were the definition of relationship goals. But behind the closed doors of their pristine home, a different story was unfolding. One that would shatter everything Zach believed to be true. For months, Zach had a nagging feeling he couldn't shake. Olivia was becoming distant. Her phone was suddenly always on silent and face down, and late nights at the office were becoming more and more frequent. Whenever he'd ask about it, she'd masterfully turn it around on him. She'd accuse him of being insecure, of not trusting her, of trying to control her. She'd say things like, "After everything I do for us, you really think I'd do something to hurt you? I'm exhausted, Zach. This pressure is too much." And like clockwork, Zach would back down, filled with guilt. He loved her so much that the thought of him being the problem was easier to accept than the alternative. He started trying even harder, hoping to fix the cracks he thought he was creating. The manipulation was subtle, but incredibly effective. Olivia was a master at playing the victim. She'd create elaborate stories about stressful projects at work or drama with her friends, all designed to make Zach feel sorry for her and deflect any suspicion. She'd even use their shared friends against him, confiding in them about how overbearing Zach was becoming. Her friends, only seeing her side, would then tell Zach to give her some space. He was completely isolated, trapped in a web of her design, questioning his own sanity. Was he just being paranoid? Was he pushing away the love of his life with his own insecurities? That's exactly what Olivia wanted him to think. The breaking point came on a Tuesday. It was their anniversary. Zach had left work early to prepare a surprise dinner, complete with candles, her favorite wine, and a thoughtful gift he'd spent weeks picking out. He texted her, letting her know he was making her favorite meal. She replied hours later, saying she was stuck in a mandatory late-night meeting and would be home very late. She said she was devastated to miss their anniversary. Zach was disappointed but understanding. He ate alone, saved her a plate, and went to bed, trying to push down the familiar knot of unease in his stomach. Around midnight, a notification lit up the shared family tablet that was left on the nightstand. It was an email confirmation from a fancy downtown hotel, a place they'd never been. The email was addressed to Olivia, thanking her for her stay. And there, in the details of the booking, was a second name, Mark. Mark was Zach's colleague, a guy he considered a friend. Zach's blood ran cold. It couldn't be. It had to be a mistake. With a trembling hand, he did something he never thought he'd do. He checked their shared phone location history. And there it was. Olivia's phone hadn't been at her office building all evening. It had been at that exact hotel for the last 5 hours. The mandatory meeting was a lie. Everything was a lie. The next morning, the confrontation was nothing like Zach had imagined. He wasn't yelling. He was calm, his voice hollow. He simply placed the tablet on the kitchen table in front of Olivia as she made her morning coffee. He watched as her face went from confusion to panic, and then, astonishingly, to anger. She didn't apologize. She didn't break down in tears. She attacked. "You went through my things? You're spying on me?" "This is exactly what I'm talking about, Zach." "You're so controlling," but this time her words had no power. The spell was broken. Zach just looked at her and said, "Was it worth it, Olivia?" For the first time, she had no answer. The truth had finally silenced her. In the days that followed, the full scope of Olivia's deceit came to light. Zach found out this wasn't a one-time mistake. It had been going on for over a year. She hadn't just lied to him. She had manipulated their entire circle of friends. She had told them Zach was emotionally distant and neglectful, painting a picture of herself as a lonely, unloved wife. She had built a fortress of sympathy around herself, making it impossible for anyone to see the truth. But now, with the hard evidence of her affair with Mark, the fortress crumbled. The fallout was immediate. When their friends learned how Olivia had lied to them to cover her tracks, they were furious. They had been used as pawns in her game. The same friends who had told Zach to give her space were now calling him, apologizing, telling him they had been completely fooled. They saw the manipulation for what it was. Olivia's plan had backfired spectacularly. In her attempt to isolate Zach, she had only isolated herself. She lost her husband, and in one clean sweep, all of her friends. The final twist came at work. The news of the affair between Olivia and Mark spread like wildfire. It turned out Mark was married too. The scandal was a huge disruption, and coupled with a clear ethical breach. The company launched an internal investigation. The deception and unprofessionalism were too much to ignore. Within a few weeks, both Olivia and Mark were let go from their jobs. In a matter of a month, Olivia had lost her husband, her friends, and her career. The perfect life she had so carefully constructed on a bed of lies had completely imploded. This story is a powerful reminder that the truth, no matter how long it's hidden, always has a way of coming out. Manipulation and deceit can build a temporary shield, but they can't build a lasting foundation. For Zach, the betrayal was devastating, but it was also liberating. He was finally free from the gaslighting and the constant self-doubt. He began the slow and difficult process of healing, supported by the true friends who had seen the light, and Olivia. She was left with nothing but the consequences of her own choices, a solitary figure in the ruins of a life she herself had destroyed. Thank you for watching. If you've been through something similar, remember you're not alone, and seeking support is a sign of strength. Don't forget to subscribe for more stories.